All right, today we are diving deep into something that might just be the next giant leap in AI video. It's called ByteDance 2.0. It's a new model from ByteDance, and it's aiming to fix some of the biggest headaches in creative AI. So let's just get right into it.
Think about all the AI videos you've seen lately, even the really impressive ones. There's often just something a little weird about them, right? Something that just pulls you out of the moment. It's like there's an uncanny valley for AI video, and for a while now, we've been kind of stuck in it.
And it almost always boils down to these core problems. You know what I'm talking about. You get that unstable, kind of jittery motion that just doesn't look right. You see those bizarre visual artifacts, like a hand that suddenly has 6 fingers, or a face that just seems to melt between frames. Characters will change their look from one shot to the next. And honestly, for creators, the biggest frustration is often the total lack of any real meaningful control, not to mention audio that feels completely slapped on. Well, these are the exact problems that ByteDance 2.0 was designed to solve.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the new paradigm this whole model is built on. Then we'll get into the real technical heart of it, the multimodal framework. After that, we're going to look at the hard data, see how it stacks up against the competition, put it through its paces in a few specific scenarios, and finally, check out the public verdict from Arena AI before we talk about what this all means for creators.
First up, a new video paradigm. And look, this isn't just about making slightly better videos. This is about a fundamental shift from making simple little clips to creating really complex, controllable scenes.
Yeah, the crucial idea here is moving away from AI video as just a novelty toy, something that spits out short, kind of unpredictable clips. ByteDance 2.0 is built from the ground up to be a professional-grade tool. It's all about giving creators robust, highly controllable synthesis, the kind of fine-tuned control they're used to in traditional production.
So, how in the world does it do that? Well, that brings us to its core architecture, the multimodal framework. And really, this is all about teaching the AI to speak the same language that creators do.
At the very heart of this thing is a concept called unified multimodal generation. Now, I know that sounds super complex, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Just imagine a film director for a second. They don't just use a script, right? They use reference photos for the look and feel, a temporary music track to set the mood, maybe even a clip from another film to get the style of motion they want. Well, this model works the exact same way. It's a single unified brain that can take in all these different kinds of input, text, images, audio, and even video, and blend them all together into one cohesive final product.
And this is a perfect illustration of how that control actually works. You've got 4 main ways to act as the director for your AI. You can give it a script with text prompts for the story. You can feed it reference images to lock down a character's look, the lighting, or the shot composition. You can give it an audio clip to dictate the rhythm and the mood. And you can even use existing video clips to guide the motion or the scene structure. And get this, the model can handle up to 9 images, 3 audio clips, and 3 video clips all at once, giving creators this just unprecedented level of directorial input.
Okay, so the theory is incredibly powerful, but how does it actually perform? Let's get into the data with the text-to-video test and see how ByteDance 2.0 really stacks up against some of the biggest names in the game. Now, what you're seeing here are called radar charts, and they're really telling. They map out performance across a bunch of different metrics. That outer red shape, that's ByteDance 2.0. And you can see how in text-to-video, image-to-video, and multimodal tasks, its performance pretty much completely swallows up the competition like Kling, Sora, and Veo. This isn't just an edge in 1 or 2 areas. This is a comprehensive, across-the-board lead.
Let's just zoom in on a few of those numbers from the expert evaluations, okay? In a basic text-to-video test, look at these scores out of 5. Motion quality, that's how smooth and realistic the movement looks, ByteDance 2.0 hits a 3.75. That is a massive jump from Kling's 3.1L and Sora 2 Pro's 2.69. And it's the same story for following the prompt and for overall aesthetics. It's not just nudging past the competition, it's setting a whole new, much higher bar.
And if there's one number that really tells the whole story, it's this one, 97.55%. That is the usability rate for motion quality in the expert tests. So what does that mean? It means that in nearly every single video it generated, the motion was rated a 3 out of 5 or higher. Basically, it was considered usable. Now, for anyone who's ever wrestled with AI video, you know how much of a game changer that level of reliability is. The competitors, for comparison, topped out around 82%.
So it's great in these general tests, but what about for specific, real-world jobs? Let's see how it holds up when we put it to the test across a bunch of different creative scenarios.
First up, let's talk about a high-stakes professional environment, commercial ads. I mean, here, every single detail matters. And once again, you can see Seedance 2.0, that's the red line, just leading the pack, especially in motion, aesthetics, and audio quality. And those are the exact things that are absolutely crucial for creating a polished, professional-looking ad. Okay, now what if we dial up this cinematic quality even more? This chart shows its performance on what they call professionally generated content. Think like TV visual effects. Here, the scores are just remarkable. Look at that score for aesthetics, a 4.13 out of 5, and motion quality is at 3.97. I mean, these scores are getting incredibly close to what you'd expect from real-world footage. It just shows what it's capable of in high-end production.
And look, this isn't us just cherry-picking the best examples. The research paper shows this exact same pattern of dominance across all 6 of the scenarios they tested. And that includes fictional scenes, social media-style videos, and consumer effects. So the takeaway is clear. This high performance is consistent, no matter what creative task you throw at it.
So in these controlled lab tests with expert raters, Seedance 2.0 is the clear winner. But that's only half the story, right? What happens when you take it out of the lab and you just ask the public which video they like more? This, to me, is the ultimate test. No fancy metrics, no expert ratings, just thousands of real people looking at 2 videos side by side from anonymous models and voting for the one they think is better. So what happens then?
Well, this is the text-to-video leaderboard from Arena AI, which is a community platform that does exactly that. And there, sitting in the #1 spot, is Seedance 2.0. It's not just first either. It leads the second-place model by a pretty significant margin in its ELO score, which is just a rating system based on all those head-to-head wins. This proves that all those technical improvements we saw in the data, they translate directly into people simply liking the videos more.
And this wasn't a fluke. Let's check out the image-to-video leaderboard, which is a direct test of its ability to bring a static image to life. And the result is exactly the same. #1 again. This proves that its advanced framework isn't just some cool feature on a piece of paper. It actually creates videos that real people find more compelling and more realistic. So we've got a model that wins in the lab and in the court of public opinion. What does that actually mean for the future? Let's talk about what's next for creators. The impact here could be, well, enormous. For businesses, this could drastically slash the cost and time it takes to produce high-quality commercials and visual effects. But I think more importantly, it puts professional-grade tools into the hands of individual creators. An indie filmmaker or a YouTuber could generate shots that until now were only possible from massive studios. This doesn't just make things cheaper, it fundamentally expands the creative freedom for anyone out there with a story they want to tell. You know, when you boil it all down, the shift that Seedance 2.0 represents is about moving AI from being a simple generator to becoming a creative partner. An AI that can actually understand directorial intent from a script, from an image, from a sound. It's learning the language of filmmaking. So the final question isn't just about what AI can make, but as it learns to direct, what new worlds are we going to ask it to create?